Chemistry Room Fragrances is the perfect addition when elevating the vibe of any space, whether if it's your home, car, or office, and something needs a quick refresh. Our room fragrances provide that beautiful burst of fragrance with just one quick mist. Shop now at www.chemistryroomfragrances.com and be sure to follow us on Instagram at Chemistry Room Fragrances. Chemistry Room Fragrances. Smells so good. everybody. It's your girl, Camille Essick. I'm host of the Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and creators connect. We are here with season 11. If you have not already done so, be sure to go right now to my YouTube channel and hit that notification bell and subscribe. Tap in and bring your friend. We have an amazing, amazing conversation tonight. This is something you don't want to miss. If you haven't heard, I've just launched the official website for Good Black Men. So go right now to my website at gbmofficial.com and follow me on Instagram at goodblackmen.com, right there on Instagram. Also follow me on YouTube, Facebook, all the streaming platforms. We're going to hop right in and get into everything. If you haven't been on the show before, he was here a couple weeks ago, so we had to bring my brother back. It is a D9 situation.
Most definitely.
Alpha Science in the building.
Most definitely. How you doing?
What's up? So those that do not follow you on TikTok, you are the crazy sergeant, also known as Country Noop. They're on TikTok. I'm here live. The TikTok families tune in as well on the other end. But those that don't know who you are officially, let the listeners and viewers know about you.
Well, look, my name is Terris Thomas. On TikTok, I am Sergeant Noop or Country Noop. Yes, I'm a Byron police officer. I've been in law enforcement now for 15 years. I love the community, and I love just, reaching out to people and bringing laughter and bringing joy to people's lives. Trying to make, especially with everything going on in the world nowadays, why not bring joy and why not bring laughter? That's the best thing for anybody. That's good for the soul.
Yeah, if people have not seen your TikToks, I tease you all the time. I'm like, who is he protecting and serving over here acting a fool in the squad car? Hey, is this what you're doing to the taxpayer money? Like, for real? Real talk. But yeah, we're going to get in right away. Go right now. You can follow him. He's on TikTok. Is it Country Noop 8?
Yes. What a K.
Okay, yeah, and also on Instagram as well, same thing. And the reason why I wanted to have this conversation, as you know, we're both Greek. I'm an SG Row, you're Noop, and we have experienced some things on the yard. If you keep in, you already know why we laughing, but yeah. So campus safety is so important. Excuse me, and that's I have nieces, you have godchildren, your father, yes. Going back to college. There is a lot going on the yard. If you don't know, there's a lot going on the yard. And so tonight, I definitely want to have that conversation tonight about campus safety, what's going on. And just to kick things off, one of the reasons why I wanted to have this conversation is because I want to say it was like my sophomore or junior year. I was living in the dorm. I was actually at MTSU. Shout out to my school, MTSU. We just killed TSU. And the game of the weekend was at 42-8.
Nice.
Yeah, shout out to the Raiders. Yeah, go blue. But, I was in the laundry room. It was on a Sunday morning. And again, we're not thinking. I go in there, doing whatever my laundry. You know how you take your clothes from the washer to the dryer. There's a guy sitting on the dryers, ball cap, just kind of looking around, not paying attention. So a couple of girls I knew coming to the laundry room, they're like, "Hey, Camille, like, are you good? Are you all right?" I'm like, "What are you talking about?" So as we're leaving, they're like, "We think that's the guy that's been attacking girls on campus." And so we immediately called campus police, gave a description of the guy, white male, ball cap, described what he was wearing. He was driving like a gray or dark color Ford F-150, gave the information, the description. They come in like 5 minutes later, and it was him.
Oh, wow.
It was him. And so me not realizing, not having situational awareness, who knows what could have happened, but luckily girls with the dorm saw me in here with this guy, and it was a co-ed, dorm laundry, so I wasn't thinking like this could be someone suspicious, Right. But I do want you to kind of have a conversation just as a freshman. For example, let's say your son's going to college. What's something as a freshman that he should think about first, week of school?
All right. Well, I can say that. Well, for the first week of school, for one, get your books. It's It's fun to have fun and partying, but your parents send you there for a reason. So get in there, get your books, make sure you go into class, because now you're an adult. Basically, mom and dad's not going to wake you up and make sure you're going to class. So you need to, take that initiative and do it yourself. But now I think, when I was in school, we didn't have all this social media and the different technologies that's out now. A lot of people nowadays are posting their location everywhere they go. That's not a good thing, because you never know who's out there to harm you, or who doesn't have the best intentions for you.
Right.
So yeah, when I say people, they do everything. Okay, we're going to the calf, we're going to the gym, we're going to the park. They post the locations, or when they go off campus. Oh, okay, we're over here, we're doing this. You don't necessarily have to post your location to every little thing that you do.
Yeah.
If you take pictures and things like that, post them after, when you get home. Like, okay, yeah, we had a good time here doing this, doing that. Just when people post their locations, that's the most dangerous thing. Dangerous thing there is. For one, people know when you're away from your dorm or away for a minute, so they know they have enough time to do whatever they need to do. So
I totally agree. Even when I see people now, like even going on vacation, like if I'm somewhere, I try to do my best to post after I'm back home.
Right.
But I see people like, I'm on my way to the airport, I'm on my way to the Caribbean, I'm on my way to California. They're like documenting the entire trip. So that person that's watching you, they know, okay, he's at the airport, she's at the airport, they're not at home, they're leaving the country. And I know we get excited, but using common sense, like, I don't know if people realize the latest Instagram update not only lists your location, but it will list your address.
Right.
So you have to go into your notification, your section settings on Instagram, turn that location notifier off.
Correct.
And if you want to say I'm in a certain city, you'll do that. But I typed in like a couple letters and it was pulling my friends' addresses. And I don't think people realize how dangerous that is, particularly for someone young on campus, first time away from home. Seriously, that's very dangerous.
Exactly.
So let's also go into, now you're on campus, you're excited. The Noops are having a welcome to school party, right?
Right.
So let's talk about walking across campus at night. Let's talk about the parking lots on campus. Can we kind of have that conversation, Sergeant Thomas?
Sure. Let's just say, for one, like you have a night class, for one. Always make sure, for one, somebody always knows where you are at all times. Even if it's just a friend, or you can let your parents know, hey, look, I have a night class, this and that, I'm going to be here. It's always good to let somebody know where you are at all times. It's not that, you're just trying to make sure. It's just a precautionary thing. Or if you do, make sure you're walking with a group. Try your best not to walk by yourself, especially when you're at nighttime. And the parking lots. I have a lot of friends, whenever they arrive at their apartment or they arrive at home, they like to sit in their cars and I know it's just a time for you to meditate before you go in and everything, but that's also very dangerous, because you never know.
Why is that not safe?
Because you never know what people's intentions are. People definitely will, some criminals, that's what they look at, because majority of people, what they do, they're sitting there listening to music. They're not looking around. They're all into the music, making sure listen to the newest Summer Walker, or listen to the new, the newest thing that's going on. But at that time, somebody can easily walk up to you. Oh yes, most definitely. But people are not paying attention. They're so in tune into the music that they're not cautious of their surroundings. So at that time, a criminal can easily walk up to you and try to assault you or take your car. Majority of the time, they're looking to take people's cars. So yeah, most definitely don't hang out and linger in your car. Do what you got to do. Go inside, then you can relax. But yeah, try your best not to have a music session inside of your car.
I know people are like, oh, it's so therapeutic to sit in my car or whatever before they go inside, but you're not paying attention. You're not having situational awareness, like you mentioned. You probably had someone before that I think you said your sister, we had talked offline, like someone had approached her or tried when she was at home, right?
Right. When she was pulling up to her apartment, a young man approached her, casual conversation, and walked off. And the next thing you know, when she was getting out of her car, he tried to rob her.
That's really good. So now that we have people sending their kids off to college for the first time, or they're coming back to campus, junior, sophomore, even a senior in college, going to parties, like I was always told, like, hey, if you're going to have something, don't put your beverage down and walk away and leave it. People can put things in your drinks. Like, we hear all these stories. So can you kind of elaborate some more to Sergeant Thomas as far as like safety in social settings, what to do at night, things like that?
All right. We, of course, at all times, whenever people are going to parties, especially college campuses, we love to have those parties. So, whenever you get a drink or whatever, never lay it down. Never put your drink down. If your song come on, if that one person that doesn't want to get up and dance, have them to watch your drinks. Like, hey, Frank, can you sit here and watch our drinks or whatever? And, do what you got to do. Come back to those drinks. If that person's not there anymore, do not touch those drinks. Because nowadays they can put all kind of pills, different kind of liquids and stuff to incapacitate you. So then after that, you become drowsy, you become lightheaded. And, of course, a person will walk up to you and be like, hey, everything's okay, walk you out. That's where, the human trafficking and all that stuff comes from. Little issues just like that.
Blackout. And speaking of human trafficking, I don't know if it was on your campus, but I know when I was at MTSU, we had people that dropped out of school or even locals that lingered around the campus. And they would put on the school T-shirt, the ball cap, have a backpack, and we were seeing them so many times. We actually thought they were actual students. Later to find out they were just someone hanging out on the yard, because the way the university is set up, it's an open campus. There's no security gate. You could literally walk in from the community and immediately just be on the yard.
Wow.
So, I mean, particularly for young ladies, if a guy's approaching you, ask for student ID, check and some people, they were dropouts, but check the expiration date, see if it's current. If you're not sure, let someone know, maybe even campus police, because you don't know who this person is, because there's so many people. Like my school, again, MTSU, even when I went to Queens University for grad school, it's a lot of people.
Yes.
Walking around. You don't know who these people from literally all over the world. They're just not just from Nashville or where you're from near Jackson, Mississippi, or Atlanta. These are people literally from everywhere coming to this location. And everyone doesn't have the same motivation as you do while they're in school.
Correct. You're so right about that.
Yeah, and even we used to hear stories about, I will say this, I'm not saying, your parents give you the talk like, don't do this, don't do that, or whatever. I will say 9 times out of 10, you tell your kid, hey, don't go to this party, don't drink. They're going to do it because it's college. They're going to try things, they're going to experiment. But I would say if you're going to send your kid off, prepare them. Like you can go on Amazon, they have shot glasses that have indicators on them. So if someone puts alcohol in the shot glass or the drink, and they add any type of chemical other than the alcohol, it will turn the glass a different color. They have some red stripe will appear on the side of the glasses. Right. That if somebody puts a roofie or a pill or something in the drink, that glass will change color and let that person know there's something wrong with this. So I'm just saying, if you're going to send your kid to college, not condoning the behavior, but prepare them and sit down and have a talk with them. Like I'm a PK, I'm a church kid. So I went in kind of green things I learned along the way. But yes, we love the Lord, but we need to let people know everybody goes to college is not saved. Everybody doesn't have a Christ mindset, a Christian mindset. And you just need to have a real talk about, and it's not even about that, but just the fact that people are just mean. And you not need to have your child out here on campus just oblivious to what's going on out here in the world.
Gullible, yes.
Yeah.
Yes, indeed.
I want to thank everybody for tuning in. This is Camille Essex with the Speaker of Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and creators connect. Tonight, we have my brother, K.A. Size, in the building. You may know him as Country Noob there on TikTok and Instagram. He's also a sergeant with the police department there in Mississippi. So we're having a safety talk as kids go back to school for college and returning students, not only just for college, but even in high school as well. So, Sergeant Thomas, let's talk about this walking across campus to go see the boo at night. Like, let's have that conversation.
Ooh, yes, indeed. Yes. Well, no, I think everybody had that one time or a couple times, whenever they go see their significant other. But yeah, going across campus, nobody ever thinks at that time, what could possibly happen, especially when females are going over to male dorms. Especially at my campus, we stayed out in the country. We were definitely out in the country. Alcorn State University.
Oh my Lord! So I had another guest on. Dr. Sheldon McPhee.
I believe so. Yes.
He went there too.
Yes.
Mm-hmm. It's your bruh.
Yes. I know.
That's all
Okay. Well, yeah. Especially females going over to male dorms. That's not the best thing to do.
We're having an honest conversation. We're grown. We've been to college.
Oh yeah, most definitely. Because I know nowadays they have co-ed dorms. When I was out there, we did not have college. We did not have co-ed dorms. So definitely, yes, we were sneaking in, trying to get past the security guard, sneaking up the back steps, things like that. But yeah, females going over to male dorms, that's a dangerous situation. You never know who is lurking outside, or what their intentions are. Especially with males going to females dorms, because a lot of guys nowadays, especially if something was to happen to them and they don't want it, of course everybody would they would feel ashamed to say that they've been raped, because no male ever wants to report that, but that is happening. Yeah, that is. Yes, it does happen. It does happen. And a lot of guys are ashamed to report it, because like you said, what male wants to say, I was raped by a female or some females. Most people look at it like, man, that's a good time. But no, if that's unwanted, that is rape.
Yeah.
Blank period.
That is so true. That happened at my school. I think my junior year, there was, I think, 3 girls. They were in the male floor. The dorm itself was co-ed, but one floor was like males, next floor female, vice versa, so on. So they had accessed the male floor. And so what they were doing, they were going down the hall, checking to see who locked the door. Right. And if the door wasn't locked, and it was on a Sunday. And if you know anything about college on a Sunday in a dorm, between, 6 a.m. to like 2 is quiet. Why? Because everybody's probably passed out from
partying,
the night before, or they resting up because the party is at night. Either way, Sundays are pretty quiet on the door. And they were going in, and the 3 of them were accosting young men. But the guys weren't really reporting it, like you said, embarrassed, ashamed. Because like you said, what guy wants to say, I was taken advantage of or whatever. Luckily, one guy did report it with, SAPR regulations. They did keep his identity private. Right. But they caught the identity of the girls because the elevator camera caught their image, and that's how they were caught. But it wasn't in the school paper to say these 3 ladies were caught, for an assault against a young man in a dorm.
Gotcha. Well, that's good. Glad to hear that. Getting the best thing is make sure that he gets his justice.
That's good. Yeah. So you being a father, what are some things as a dad? And I know you have a son, but if you had a daughter going to college, some things that she should be aware of on the campus, day or night.
Like I said, she's not going to school. I would keep her wrapped up. Thank goodness I have a son. But no, the majority of the thing is, you have to have, like you said, situational awareness. Make sure everybody doesn't have your best intentions. So watch who you hang with and watch who your friends are, because some people, most people don't come from where they did not come from where you came from.
Right.
So they might not have the luxuries or the privileges that you had. So they're trying to make a come up, as the people say, make a come up. So if they see that you have a car and they don't have a car, well, hey, can I borrow your car to go do this and borrow your car to go do that? That's their way of, coming up. So yeah, you definitely have to watch who your friends are, or who has your best intentions, who genuinely wants to be your friend.
That is true. There was car sharing going on. I remember back in the day when I was on the yard. And you don't know if they could come in and crime in your car. They could take your car and not bring it back.
Right.
They could wreck your car. There were so many times, like the dorm I lived in, there was a parking lot, but then there was parking on the street. And particularly on Friday and Saturday night, you were at risk parking your car on the street because so many students might have been inebriated and driving on campus, hit somebody's car and keep going. Like, all the hit and run was normal.
Yes, indeed. Yes.
Yeah, so I think those are some very key things. Even like you mentioned, walking across campus at night classes in the computer lab at the library. Also, excuse me, times that you should be aware of your surroundings, what's going on, back and forth parties, frat parties. It's just now, just talking to you, just the memories are flooding back about, we had a great time, but then there were instances where when you saw someone go through a situation or something would happen, and you're just like, well, wow. Situational awareness. I think one of the biggest things now, social media, people posting their locations everywhere all the time, every time, and just how sometimes do you always have to let everyone know where you are, your exact location, checking in. Sometimes maybe that's not as you mentioned earlier, that's not always the best thing to do.
Exactly. Yes. Letting people know where you are 24/7 is not the best thing. Like I said, post it afterwards. After you get home, after you get in from the party, oh, look, this is the fun that we had. We went here and we had fun here.
Yeah.
That way people don't know, okay, yeah, oh, they're here now. No, you don't have to let them know where you at. Your every move. Oh, I'm about to go eat now. This is what I'm going to eat. I'm about to go here now. No, that's not good at all.
Yeah. What's that sound bite on TikTok? Ooh, what a time we had last night.
We had a time last night.
It's we laugh at it, but in reality, it's like, yeah, the time you had last night, maybe post that the next day.
Yes.
After you had the big fun,
Yes. You're so right.
So also too, road tripping. I don't know if you and your bros, we took road trips to other campuses.
Yes, states everywhere. We traveled.
Yeah, we stayed in Atlanta, Georgia Tech, Moby, and even in those situations, like you're out, especially when you're neo, you want to go to different campuses and meet other bros and soras. But even in those situations, knowing where you're going. Like the very first time I went to Atlanta, like, whoa, coming from Nashville, huge culture shock. But it's like when you're going to other cities. We went to my Alpha chapter in Indianapolis, like the semester after our cross, and we had fun. But we stopped at an IHOP, went in, and somebody broke into our rental. While we were there, broke the window.
Right.
Because we're clearly not from there. We're looking around, And luckily they didn't take the van, but they did break the window of the rental, and they were looking for stuff to see if we had. There was nothing in there, but the fact that they did that, and that was really scary. So, like I said, semester after our cross, but yeah, somebody broke into our rental van. So,
wow. Yes, you definitely have to be careful on these road trips. Like you said, you still have to have the awareness when you go out of state. Because especially you having an out of state tag, people are like, okay, they're not from around here. They might watch you. They just don't have the best intentions for you. So yeah, most definitely look at your surroundings. Make sure people aren't watching. Because everybody wants to have fun, so nobody wants to be that party people that are like, oh, this might be dangerous and things like that. But somebody has to be the safe one. Somebody has to be the person with the mindset of everybody's safety.
Yeah. Something I do want to touch on, Sergeant Thomas. It's not talked about, but in college, it's a lot of times we see our first instances of domestic violence in relationships. And because you're already shaking your head, you know I'm going with this. It's not really talked about, but a lot of times the beginnings of that may surface in college. So can you kind of unpack for us, Sergeant Thomas, as far as warning signs or things women or even men should look out for when they're their first adult love relationship or whatever in college, and those red flags that could open the door for domestic violence in a relationship on the college campus?
Well, especially now, when you see people, the first thing they say is the toxic relationship. But some people they'll laugh at it, like, oh, he's just he's being a little toxic and things like that. But you never know how somebody could end up, especially when they say they're toxic, especially if they're being controlling. That's the main thing. They always have to know where you are, what are you doing, who are you with. That's one red flag that you should see that, okay, that person's controlling. Sometimes they could be concerned, a person that, has your good interest, like, yeah, I would just want to know, make sure you're safe. But most people like, are you around us a lot of guys? Or, or they hear a guy in the background, who's that with? Who you with? So I thought you say you with your girls. That's one red flag of a person, one, being controlling. They always want to, like I said, they always want to know your location, always want to know who you with. So yes, that's one of the biggest red flags, is somebody's being really controlling starting off.
Yeah, I think too with women, particularly younger girls, even women, period. They think, oh, he just cares, or he's just being concerning. But like you said, there's one thing when he's just making sure, hey, let me know you made it home okay, or something like that, or he's walking you to your door. But every guy you talk to, the paranoia, or is he trying to talk to you, like you said, or who is that, and why is he talking to you? Well, why are you going to and it could be a study group. Well, why are you in this study group? Well, my teacher put us in this group with this person,
Right.
I think about that episode of A Different World where Gina was dating the rapper guy and he gave her the shit. Remember that episode?
Yes.
He was telling her, like, hey, this isn't cool. And she kept, he would like hit her and then buy her something and say, I'm sorry. And it escalated. And it got to a point where she had to file a report. And I think that was a very important episode of The Different World because it actually happens. Like domestic violence in college relationships, it happens.
It does. It does. You know what I'm saying? Like most people, like I said, they try to sweep it under the rug and they just like, well, they just, that's puppy love, or that just, one of his little toxic tendencies. No, that's something you need to be concerned about. Something that if it's small now, and it definitely will escalate. So
I think one of the things I think now with this generation is, like you mentioned before, with the social media saying it's cute to be in a toxic relationship, or even promoting to be toxic or have toxic traits or tendencies, or as they call it, demon time or whatever, or being savage, and these tropes that we hear out here. But it's like you're really programming your kids like that's okay, or thirst trapping, which is a form of narcissistic, manipulation. But it's just like, hey, this isn't healthy. This isn't safe. This is not, what a real relationship. If someone loves you, that's not what this is about. So I think sitting down with your child and letting him or her know these are some red flags you should watch out for. If it continues to escalate and you're noticing a pattern or trend, then you need to have that conversation with them. If they're not listening, as a parent, have them call him or her, call you, and let the parent step in. Because if you don't teach your child that they deserve better than that, it's just going to ripple into their adulthood as far as how they choose when they're dating as they get older.
Exactly. Most traits, they learn from either parents, or they see it. They see it as they're growing up, and some people they grow up thinking it's okay. Like, okay, well, it was done to my folks, or my folks do it. Okay, so when I see somebody that shows me that love or that physical love, no, that's not okay. That's not something that needs to continue. The cycle needs to break.
Exactly. So as we begin to wrap up this conversation, Sergeant Thomas, you've said some very important things. One thing I do want to kind of hit on as we're getting to a close, there's a lot of cybercrime going on. And so as college students, things slide in DMs, things happening in Snapchat and other apps that I'm not familiar with. But but it's just like not really understanding that certain text, certain pictures that you send, that can follow you into your adult years. If you're in a domestic situation and they want to get back at you, they can hold those photos hostage. They can leak them online. Like cybercrime is a real thing. Identity theft is a real thing. So you as an officer, what are some of the things that you've seen in that realm?
Well, yeah, I have seen those. It's called revenge porn, where the young lady or the young man sends explicit videos or photos of himself to their significant other. And I guess whenever the person makes them mad, they feel like, okay, I'm gonna start putting these pictures out of that person to embarrass them. That is a crime. You can say it's called, well, in Mississippi, it's called the revenge porn crime, and you can do some time behind it. So I advise anybody,
Hey, I need you to kind of say that so people really understand what you just said.
Okay.
That you can go to jail.
Yes. Yes, you can go to jail for releasing explicit photos or videos of somebody else without their permission. Yes, that is called revenge porn. Well, in Mississippi, it's called revenge porn, but in other states, but yet and still, it's still a crime, and you can do time behind it. So make sure you, for one, just keep those photos to yourself.
Or not even take them. How about that?
That too, because you never know. People's iClouds and stuff are getting hacked nowadays. So
yeah. And even in the military, that was a term for it, and I don't think there was a statute for it because it was considered under the sex crime statute.
Right.
And so in the military, there's no statute of limitations for sexual related crime.
Okay. Good.
So and that's something we were seeing, like, as I left 2 years ago, but something that was trending on the rise, the usage of Snapchat and other social media apps with exchanges of like WhatsApp, what's the other one? Tinder, Bumble.
Yeah.
I don't know what's out there now, but I don't know dating apps that it was becoming a problem, particularly with Snapchat. Because they're like, oh, it goes away in 24 hours. But now with Instagram and Facebook with those same features, but there's a lot of things exchanged there. And what people don't realize, there are federal entities that monitor the traffic of images. So you think you're sending it through Facebook or Instagram, but there's something going on in the background where they can still pick up those images.
Oh yeah, it never goes away. They say it disappears in 24 hours. It never goes away.
Right. So with that being said, Sergeant Thomas, we do want to have a little icebreaker here. So as you being a member of Kappa Alpha Psi Fraternity Incorporated,
all right,
what will you say were probably some of your top or most memorable moments as an undergrad that were teaching moments for you as an adult?
Ooh, okay. I would say, for one, getting to know my line brothers, because I'm the oldest of three. So I didn't really have any older brothers and sisters to look up to. So, just getting together when we were, going through our process, and just the bonding that we had with each other, it was just it showed that, for one, that you need to cherish family, for one, because you never know when you are here and when you won't be here anymore. So that's just something that, it was a good bonding process that we had with each other, and we are still tight to this day. And I love my LBs to death. So it's just, something that just love your family.
So I want to ask you this question. We're kind of going sidebar for a moment.
Mm-hmm.
I have my thoughts on it, but we've seen a lot of Greeks kind of appropriate our steps, our strolls, the line shirts, the line jackets.
Yeah.
I mean, like, really, and I feel a way about that. I really do.
I know. Well, basically, I feel, our organizations were made because, for one, we were isolated from other, organizations. So therefore, that's why we started our own organization. So I feel that, our organization, our steps and our scrolls and our things were made for us. They were made for anybody else to, try to mimic or try to copy. So therefore, yes, those were made for us, by us. So therefore, they should be kept with us.
I agree. I just feel like if people really understood the history of our organizations,
exactly,
like now with technology and now other stories that we didn't know about our founders are surfacing, just because maybe documents were not easily read because of age and time. And so now with technology, we're able to digitally enhance and read manuscripts better. Because even like we just had Centennial, and which I kind of heard some things, but they did a tour because SG Row was founded at Butler, and a lot of people don't know down the street was the headquarters of the Klan.
Right. I think I saw that. It was a white male telling the story about it.
Yeah. So
yeah, I saw that.
It was the head of the Klan was down the street. So my sorors, our founders at that time, they were dealing with that.
Right.
PW got this white campus because we were the only BGLO that was not founded at a HBCU. We were founded at a PWI. For those that don't know, BGLO is Black Greek letter organizations. HBCU is historically Black colleges and universities, and PWIs are predominantly white institutions. But you know that. But just breaking the vernacular down for those that are not privy to that language. But long story short, so our founders were really dealing with we knew there was racism because it was in the 1900s and early 1900s, 1922, that era. But then to have this bigger picture painted that here are Black women on this white college campus with the Grand Master of the Klan a few blocks from the street.
Right.
Now the picture is like, oh, whoa, And so there are people that come in that have no knowledge of even why we were founded, our history, what we're here for, even today. And then just to see people grab, oh, that step looks cool, that line shirt looks great, let me copy that. But you're really doing a disservice to our foundation.
Right. And the main thing I hate when people try to, classify us as gangs. We're not gangs. You know what I'm saying? We're not. We're definitely not gangs. We are an organization. We're an organization of young college students trying to, better ourselves and better the community as well. And that's what the people from the outside looking in that don't understand. That's the first thing they'll say. Well, you're nothing just but an organized gang with colors. No, that's not what we're here for.
No,
we said we're here to uplift Black men, Black men and women, and try to help them excel and try to help them achieve.
Yeah, there's been so many world changers that's come through the D9. You can go to any of our websites, and we all have a list of prominent or notable members, and you can see just literally line after line after line of notable people that have come through our organizations. Like you look at Arthur Ashe, Kappa Alpha Psi.
Yes.
So you look at Nelson Mandela, Phi Beta Sigma.
Right.
You look at Zornil Helston, she was a member of Zeta Phi Beta. You look at MC Light, Brownstone, Marsha Ambrosius, Miss Jamaica, they're all SG Rows.
Exactly.
Jamila Carr, one of my sorors, SG Row. The late Sandra Bland, SG Row.
Yes.
You look at, we say it, but Martin Luther King, he was Alpha Phi Alpha. Coretta Scott King, she was at AKA. So you look at Lynn Whitfield, Delta Sigma Theta. Exactly. So it's just like you look at, he was on Living Signal, Living Single.
Dang it.
Tom Kyle Barker. But he's
Alpha Theta, right.
Yeah, so it's just like there's so many amazing people that have done things to change and open the door for other people that look like us. And it's like, they were Greek.
Exactly.
So it's like, how can you sit there and classify us as these things when that's not even the case? If you look at, the current, I think it's Senator Warnock, he's an alpha.
Mm-hmm.
Like Kamala Harris, the vice president, she's an AKA. Like,
exactly.
Here. So it's just like, we really have to pause and think, are you saying this? Are you mad because you just didn't make line? Or, I mean, like the shade. It's just like our organizations have done some amazing things for not just cities, states, but the world and the country. And I feel like, there's books you can read. Like I own a copy. The author, he autographed it for me. The Divine Nine. That book we all got.
Oh yeah.
He came to our school and spoke years ago. But it's just like there's so much information. I do feel a way about people going online and denouncing an organization because they feel. I'm like, if you don't want to participate, fine. But
go on about your business, right?
That's just my opinion. But again, I just feel like there's nothing satanic going on. Like, oh, it's a cult, it's all these myths that are going on. And I'm like, if I'm a church girl, if it was like that, I want to join. So it's just, you hear all these stories. But at the end of the day, the BGLOs, KSI, SG-Row, aka Delta. I know we joking, we shade, but at the end of the day, it's all love, all respect. Yeah. We may have different methods, but we have the same end goal. Correct. I think now with social media, we're seeing a greater impact as far as coming together, unity, marching together. A few weeks ago, I had one of our past Grand Basilisk, Sora Benita Herring was on. She was our 23rd International Basilisk. And she came here, it was August 22nd, and she joined in 1970. And so she was shedding light on what Black America was like at that time.
Wow.
And she's from Chicago. So can you imagine her, and just amazing conversation. And that conversation is on my YouTube channel, but it was really good just to hear her gems and wisdom and what she had to share and give us as far as what the organizations as a whole, they were all together, marching together, protesting together, coming out of witnessing Malcolm Martin be assassinated, right. Get assassinated and looking like what that looked like on college campus, because she shared at that time, she was in school, but the National Guard killed 4 students at Kent State. Just a lot was going on. Vietnam, it was just it was just such a whirlwind in 1970. And so just to hear that and to see people appropriate our culture now in 2022, it's very upsetting and frustrating to me. It just burns me on so many levels when I see that. So.
Indeed. I understand. Definitely understand.
For sure. So where can people connect with you on social media? First of all, before we end everything, what are some gems or takeaways from this conversation about campus safety that you would like parents out there to know as they send their young ones back to, well, they should be back by now, but just on the college campus?
Well, I would say, have that talk with them, let them know about drinking, leaving your drinks around, going when they are arriving at the dorm, not staying inside their vehicle and going straight into their dorm, late night classes, make sure they're walking groups or let somebody know where they are at all times. I know we didn't really talk about it, but with smoking, because nowadays, kids.
We have a few more minutes. Touch on that for a second.
Okay. Well, marijuana is going to be legal sooner or later, but just letting some of your kids know that a lot of people aren't using this regular marijuana. They're enhancing it. They're lacing it with fentanyl, and that's one drug that's a real dangerous drug. They're basing it with formaldehyde and embalming fluid. Yes.
Hold on. I'm about to give you another 10 minutes. I need to know what is going on. Wait a minute.
Yes, they are.
That's like embalming fluid.
Embalming fluid. Yes, they are. They're dipping it once they're they roll it up and everything, they're dipping it in the marijuana into the mumming fluid and smoking it. It's called wet.
Shut up.
Yes, that's what it's called, wet. Mm-hmm.
Lord. Yes, Jennifer, what is going on? Why? Why are we dipping weed in embalming fluid?
I mean, that's just another high that people are using to give them that high.
Yeah, Maurice is like, yeah, they call it wet.
Yeah, they call it wet.
Wait a minute.
It's crazy.
What?
Yes, ma'am, they are.
Okay, so I do know, because like even my job, they released an article. They were saying that because I'm not into that. That's not my thing. But they were like, some people do CBD oil versus cannabis oil, and they were in the article they put out mentioning what was the difference, and they were like, with the CBD oil does not have THC, and cannabis oil does, because THC is the molecule that gets you high.
Correct.
So, so again, going back to my military experience with the JAG. On a federal level, weed is still illegal. Now, states are state by state, they're still saying authorized, and it's saying like in Colorado, you can. This state is saying no, but federally, it's still scheduled. I think it's a Schedule 1. So Schedule 1. See, I remember Schedule 1. And so marijuana falls under Schedule 1 as a Schedule 1 controlled substance. So even though this state, California, says that you can't, like, i.e., we look at Brittany Griner with her situation, with the WNBA player. She's detained in Russia right now.
Right.
In a vape pen in Russia. So they got her for drug smuggling. We're like, oh, it's a vape pen. But just because you can do it here doesn't mean it's okay there.
Exactly.
So, yeah, you just told me something new.
Yes, they're definitely using all different kind of methods, to get that high.
Wow. So I do remember I've heard stories of people sprinkling like cocaine or LSD or something in the marijuana, but I never knew they were dipping it in the formaldehyde. Now, fentanyl, that's been the new thing, because they're saying even like a pin drop could kill you. So my thing is, as you being a police officer, can you kind of school us for the next couple minutes, like exactly what is fentanyl, what is going on with this thing, and why it is so dangerous?
Well, it's kind of hard to explain, but yeah, right now, people are using fentanyl to get that extra high, or to get that extra feeling. To make themselves, I don't know the words to say for it, but yeah, they're definitely using
make the high higher.
Yes, basically, they're using. But
I mean, like,
I know, but now they're overdosing off this fentanyl, and it's the opioid epidemic. It's definitely getting worse. So yeah. Parents need to have that talk with with their kids about these different kind of drugs that's out.
Yeah, I think also the culture now makes it cool. We hear about Percocet, oxycodone.
I like Percocet, yeah, like a whole song about it.
Yeah, I know. Growing up, when I was in college, it was you heard about lean, and codeine mixing the lean and sipping on scissor. We heard.
And with the baby ball and all that kind of stuff. Yes.
Yeah, and so now it's like it's on another level now, because it went from, kids were smoking or whatever to now they're popping pills. From what I'm hearing, heroin is kind of back on the scene again, or coming back around. Yes. And so kids don't understand in college. You feel like, oh, I'm going to try this one time just to see, but that one time could take you out of here, because you don't know what's in it. Somebody that excuse me, you think is your friend, that could be secretly jealous, and it could be laced with something.
Exactly.
And now you're ODing.
Yes, exactly. So yeah, it's best not to try it at all. That's what I say.
Yeah, it's just the stories that I've heard, and I've had people I've known, their child has overdosed trying things, trying to be cool, or even drunk driving. I had someone from high school. He didn't even make it to college that summer. I think he had gone to one of the Southern Heritage Classic or something. Yeah. Car wrapped around the tree, and he never made it to freshman year. So I think kids, as we're having this conversation as far as back to college, back to school, these are some things that you need to talk to your kids about. It's very important as far as you were mentioning, the drugs, alcohol, the partying, going across campus at night. So is there another point or takeaway, Sergeant Thomas, that you wanted to share before we wrap up?
I would just say, just have the talk with them. Kids, whenever they, for one, and even in high school now, or when they get to college, they think they're invulnerable. That nothing can hurt them. They're just, they're just young and they just want to live. But just bring them back to reality. Let them know that, hey, things can happen and it will happen. You just have to prepare yourself for it.
For sure. So first of all, I want to say to you, thank you for sharing by. This was not what I call a warm, fuzzy conversation. It's one of those hard conversations that we have to have. It's necessary because it is a real thing out here. But it is something that we do need to talk about. And, I love to joke and have fun. But sometimes we need to have these sit down, what I call this intervention type conversations, just to let people know, hey, what's going on out here. So thank you so much for taking time out of your busy schedule, out of your TikTok schedule. You're supposed to be protecting the serve, and you out here making reels. But thank you. So for those, excuse me, that would like to connect with you or get more information, where can they do that?
You can follow me on TikTok. You can follow me on Instagram. Country Noop, that country's with a K. Country Noop 8 with the number 8. Or there's my information right there. But you can definitely you can inbox me if you have any more questions, or if you just want a good laugh, follow me.
You will definitely get a good laugh. Sometimes I'm at work, first of all, the fact that I'm at work, let's skip that. I was at work watching a reel, and I was like, sir. But
yes, indeed.
So for those that don't know, GBM is out there online now. There's the information there on the screen. Go right now and shop on my website, and be sure to subscribe when you do. On my website, you'll be able to use the coupon code. That way you can save 15% at the checkout. Heart and Soul 2022 is coming back. It is kicking off on October the 10th at 7:30 is the pre-mixer party. If you were there last year, DJ Spade is coming back. I am announcing the panelists very soon. So if you want to get first dibs on who's coming to Heart and Soul 2022, you need to go to my website and subscribe. It's going to be good. I have some dope panelists this year. Awesome. Some new faces, some familiar faces, but trust me, it's going to be all the way up. So that'll be October 10th. That'll be the pre-party, the pre-mixer with DJ Spade at 7:30. And then we're going to go into the panel discussion at 8 o'clock. But it's going to be lit. So I'm super excited about that. More on that coming soon. Sorry, y'all. My sinuses have been draining. So
it's all right.
Y'all pray my strength in the Lord. Yes. But that being said, this is your girl, Camilla Estic, host of the Speaker Podcast. This is the podcast where innovators and creators connect. Tune in next week. We have my brother and friend, Antoine Aiken, returns. We're going to have a great conversation about Black men and mental health. Sergeant, hold on for just a few minutes as we wrap up. But you guys have a great night and be blessed. Bye-bye.
Take care.